Okay, this is a follow-up to the whistleblower protection. I said I'd do a separate video on kind of the case on pretty much me against the DA in Yolo County. His name was Jeff Reisig. Here's the facts of the case from my perspective, which I believe is true because we started the case. There was a case that they're trying to prosecute a guy for murder, and or for shooting, a gang shooting. It must have been for murder. He ended up killing a guy, because maybe two people, because they were going for the death penalty. Well, we weren't involved in the case. Me and my lieutenant weren't involved in the case, but we were the firearms instructors for the agency, so we were the use of force experts. So this crooked DA and the DA that was working the case was trying to prosecute the case, so they went to my lieutenant and said, hey, we cut a deal with a felon, a guy who's in prison for felon, who is now going to get out and cut some deal. And he said he saw flashes of the .22. And because he saw flashes, and because he's a felon and his credibility is a little iffy, because we're cutting him a deal and we're letting him out early to get his testimony, we want you to go out and do a test with the same gun, in the same lighting conditions, fire the .22, and be at the same distance as this felon's testifying, so we can call you in and we can put a firearms expert and the lieutenant and one of our use of force guys on the stand and say, yeah, I did the test and what this guy is saying is actually true. You can see a .22 at this distance. Doesn't really say what he said is true, but it makes the jury think it's true, because now we have somebody in a position of authority and a gun expert coming in saying, yeah, we can see it. So my lieutenant goes out, does this test. He tests the gun. He says, that's bullshit. You can't see it. We did it with the same gun, with the same thing. The felon's lying. He couldn't have saw it. Oh, shit. Well, that messes up the case. We can't have that. So the DA that requested this goes to my lieutenant and go, hey, you know what? We told you to do, once they found out the results. They go, hey, you know, we told you that test. Don't worry about it. We're not going to need it. And my lieutenant's like, what do you mean you're not going to need it? He goes, this is a death penalty case. You got me involved in investigation. You asked me to do a test. I did the test. He goes, yeah, but we don't want it now. Forget it. And he goes, look, I did the test. I did a report. Here's my report. I'm not going to be hiding. He goes, this is discoverable. And what discoverable means is that the defense has a right to know what the prosecution knows. You can't pick and choose and hide stuff. They need to know. And discoverable is really an iffy case, and the lawyers play games with all the times. The DAs are always getting caught hiding discoverable evidence, because if it hurts their case, they're not going to give it to the defense. And of course, no cop will ever admit it, and no DA will ever admit it, but there's all kind of cases you can research where DAs have refused or failed to discover. But because it's worded in the law and it's legal, it's kind of up to the DA, and it's all mumble jumble. But the gist of the case was, that's how this whole thing got started, where me and my lieutenant ended up getting fired. We ended up winning our job back, winning the case, and went through a year of hell. So he turns in a report. Well, he comes to me because I know the DA in the case, and he's like, dude, I think they're going to try and hide this shit. And I go, what? He goes, yeah. He goes, I did the test. He goes, the guy they put on the stand was lying. He goes, he didn't see it. I know he's lying. But he goes, they tried to get me to squash this and hide it. And I went, oh, hell no. I said, are you serious? So, me, not wanting to be, I could have stayed out of it and went, oh, like most people would have done. Oh, man, this is bad. If they don't want it, man, I don't want to cross them. You know, if they told you to do that, you know, Randy, you should just hide it and destroy it, and let's move on with our life. Well, look, we were both in the military together. We both have morals and ethics, and we're like, you know what, that's wrong. That's bullshit. That's not why we do this job. We do it for the right reason. And we're supposed to be seeking out the truth. And if something hurts the case, oh well. But we're supposed to be the good guys. We're not supposed to be the bad guys. So I go to the DA and I go, dude, you got to discover that shit. You can't be hiding that shit. It's going to come out. It's wrong. It's not right. Oh, he got all pissed off, fluffed up. Oh, your lieutenant, he needs to, you know, back up. And if he's got a problem, he's got to come to me. And I go, dude, he knows we're friends. He came to me. I'm coming to you. You need to discover that shit. He goes, discoverable. He goes, oh, yeah. Gave me some bullshit. I think it went back and forth for a while. I mean, this is like 5-6 years ago, 10, I don't know how long ago it was. It was a long time ago. But we went back and forth. Eventually, the shit wasn't discovered. They hid it. They actually lost it, destroyed it, but I couldn't prove it. So that was one of the things that I had to admit that I couldn't prove, but whatever. The thing never, I had a copy of it. As soon as this went down, me knowing how shit happens and my paranoid kind of like, I know how crooked people are. You know, this ain't passing a smell test. Randy, I need a copy of that letter. So I made my copy. Well, all the other copies disappeared, but I had mine, luckily, in the ace in the hole. It didn't really end up helping me in the long run, but whatever. So after this happens, they still don't do it. Instead, they put on another crooked lieutenant in our office up on a stand, and he testifies using my name and Randy Skaggs' names in the court trial that we talked to the, and something to this, they would never discover the transcripts to me, so I couldn't find it. So this is what I was told from people in the court. He testifies that, yeah, our range instructors, Randy Skaggs and Rick Gore, said that you could see gunfire at night at that distance. That was a flat out lie. Me and Randy didn't say that. He did the test and said you can't see it. He even put it in a report that I had a copy of. So now they're giving false testimony in order to cover up for this felon that they cut a deal with to say he saw it. Now, before I get too far into this, I think the guy they convicted was guilty. I think he did it. I think the case against him was strong. The problem I have is we ended up trying to be part of the bad guys by hiding shit and changing shit around and not discovering things that we should have. You know what? So what? In the big scheme of things, you tell the truth, you let the chips fall. If the jury's let him go, then you retry him. But you don't want to retry him because it's too much work and it's too much time and we have to pick a new jury. And you know what? It's easier if we just hide this, then we'll be sure and get a conviction. That's why I don't have a lot of faith in the criminal justice system. But that's regardless. So anyway, all this turns out, I got to kind of get through this because this is a long process. So what ends up turning out is I'm like, hey, you know what? That's bullshit. You guys freaking covered this up. The trial was going on. In the middle of this, another trial started where a CHP officer was killed and my team found the gun that we were out searching. I ended up doing the paper, so I had to testify. So they couldn't really attack me because they knew I was pissed off about this. They knew I wasn't going to let it go, and they knew that I thought it was wrong. So they were like, oh shit, you know, that damn Gore, he's a cowboy. You know? we can't control him. We better start working on discrediting him or knocking him down so we can have something over his head so he won't come out against us. Well, I saw the writing on the wall that, you know, little things they were doing, vehicles. They tried to deny a step increase that I was entitled to, and I was like, okay, I see what's going on. But I waited for the trial. After the trial was over, I went, you know what, this is bullshit. So I ended up doing a letter, working on a letter, sending it up to the DA saying, hey, I think this is wrong, this is what's going on, I think they're trying to discredit me now, and here's what's going on. As soon as he gets up there, within minutes, somebody from the AG's office calls the DA and he knows. Well, then he goes into high court and he goes to my lieutenant and goes, what's going on? I just heard he got a letter. You better. And I was like, oh shit. So the letter gets to the press. People get it. Now, of course, the press is going to release this because they ain't got his side. He's not going to say anything. And of course, he never does say anything. He doesn't reply a letter. He says, oh, it's all BS. I'm not saying anything. So he doesn't reply. He replies later 100 times when he's trying to fire me and putting out all this bull crap. But whatever. So they pretty much come after me. They relieve me of duty and take my gun and say, hey, you know what, give us your gun, you're relieved of duty, you made these accusations. So, I mean, the smear process that happened after that was just freaking amazing. Phone records, searched my office, anybody that talked to me, told everybody they couldn't talk to me, isolated me, went through this dehumanizing process to kind of keep you isolated so you have no support mechanism. So hopefully you'll just say, screw it, I quit and walk away, and then their side comes up. And that's what most people do. Most people just go, you know what, I'm not going through this. After a while, I'm done. Well, I had my retirement. I know I didn't do anything wrong. I was like, screw this. I'm fighting this. I said, I ain't walking away. So I end up winning. Me and my lieutenant both end up winning after a long court process. Even they lied. I mean, the lying in our civil hearing, my attorney was like, I was like, dude, they're lying, and we know they're lying. And he laughed at me. He goes, dude, you don't know much about civil trials, do you? And I said, I know when you take an oath that you're supposed to tell the truth. He goes, man, everybody lies in civil. Nobody cares. I don't. He goes, that's why you're losing. I go, dude, you're killing me. So, I mean, he was a good guy, but it was like, dude, he was just a realist. And that's why they say a fool for a client has, or, you know, the only person that represents themselves has a fool for a client, because you have to have an attorney who's kind of disconnected. My attorney used to laugh and kind of like, nobody cares. Nobody cares about these press releases but you and the DA. Yeah, you guys are fighting. Nobody cares. He goes, look, they're going to settle. They're going to pay you money. You're going to get your thing. And sure enough, he was end up being right. But through the whole case, I never wavered on what I said. I testified truthfully. I told the truth. My letter was truthful. But if you read all the court transcripts and all the things that the DA, and this last case that just came out, I'm getting all these emails. Hey, Rick, man, I got 15 million viewers on my horse channel, so I have a lot of people that kind of follow me or call me for advice or know that I was a cop. So now this new report come out, they go, oh, Rick Gore gave false information. He agreed to false information. Well, that was their press release because I didn't fight. I didn't want to hire an attorney. So now there's this thing hanging out there in the court that looks like I was lying. Look, people, you can believe what you want. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's gone. Me and my lieutenant both got settlements. We both got paid out. We both got our retirements. I got me a nice barn paid for by Yolo County, the DA, that crooked Jeff Reisig. Yeah, I said your name, and I called you crooked because you are. You're lying, crooked, no good DA that got away because you knew the system and you had unlimited legal resources. The bar didn't care. I was like, man, the bar's got to care about him lying. And then he goes, the bar don't care. When was the last time you heard an attorney disbarred? Unless it was a major case to where they couldn't hide it and cover it up. It has to be so egregious that the state bar, people are like, oh, the state bar, they hold the attorneys in check. Come on, man. I mean, be a realist. I'm a realist after this. This really opened my eyes about whistleblowing. My other video on whistleblowing, I thought I was going to be protected. I thought I was this, I had a stellar career, Air Force, military, FBI, U.S. Marshals, task forces. I mean, I had zero things. I was a good cop. And I still am a good cop. Shit. But they made it, and they attacked, and their use of the system was just... me and my lieutenant would sit there at night and talk and be like, hey, can you believe you're doing this? Because we used to think the system would protect good. If you told the truth, you were always okay. The government wouldn't come after you if you told the truth. We used to believe that. I mean, we'd hear people go, oh man, you better not do that because they'll come. Look, dude, if you're telling the truth, don't worry about it. And because that's the way we lived our lives, that's what we thought. Until this happened, and we were like, holy cow, I can't believe what the government can do when they want you. So, look, I'm going to refer people to this vehicle because I'm kind of tired of typing up, trying to explain to people who are emailing me about, hey, we read this, we read this. It says you gave false information, it says you were fired, it says you had to quit. I didn't have to quit. I didn't want to work for those crooked-ass office and deal with the shit. My attorney was like, look, dude, if you go back to work, they're going to come after you. We're going to get to sue them again. You're going to get more money. You're going to get more time. Just go back to work. They're going to come after you. I go, dude, I've been fighting these jackasses for a year. I'm done. I want to move on with my life. Let them do what they want to do. So then when it came from this new press release just came out, because I won it in the court, and of course they had money to appeal it, and they wouldn't take my side. I tried to go to the court and go, hey, can I represent myself? And they're like, you got to have this, and I sent in the wrong color paper. When you appeal, you got to have five copies. One's got to be pink, gray, and if you get it wrong, they won't take it. And I was spending $75 just mailing the paper that they kept screwing up. I went, you know what? I don't give a shit. Let them do what they want to do. I am not hiring an attorney to do this and wasting more of my money. Well, the DA's office, they don't care. It's Yolo County taxpayers paying their money. They'll just raise property taxes. They didn't care. They have unlimited resources. You can't fight the government or somebody with legal services that's unlimited. You're just not going to win. And even if you win in civil court, you don't get anything. I mean, civil court's a joke. I've done another video about civil court and jury duty. It's a joke. Even if you win, you don't get anything. It's more about what you can release and what you can say and what... Look, people, bottom line, me and my lieutenant did the right thing. We stood up against shit that we saw that was going on. They're going for a death penalty case. They're trying to convict a guy on felon testimony. They had another guy come in, a lieutenant come in and give false testimony and lie. And the DA was lying doing my thing, and I'll say it, he was lying. And to me, lying is saying, oh, I have no recollection, I can't remember. Even in the face of documentation that you wrote, you can go, I have no recollection. No, this doesn't jog my memory. I don't remember this. I mean, there was another thing in the trial that killed me. The same lieutenant that got on stand, he came and testified, of course, for the DA during my hearings for my job and all this other stuff. And one of my accusations, and it wasn't an accusation, I saw the guy coming out. He was searching a DA that was running against this DA in a thing. He went in her office and was searching it for campaign stuff. And I know he was searching for campaign stuff only because I'm a cop and I know what he was working for, and he was for the other guy, and he really had no business in her office. So when I see him one morning, I'm in the office, and he comes out of this attorney's office, I know there's a campaign going on. I'm like, what are you doing in her office? And he was a little weaselly short lieutenant with a little man something like, I was looking for a file. But I could tell, I mean, I've been a cop for a while, I can tell when somebody's lying and when they're caught with their pants down. He was lying his ass off, and I'm like, dude, that does not pass the smell test. So I went and talked to my lieutenant and go, dude, that motherfucker was searching her office for, I said, that's some crooked ass shit going on around here. Well, that was in my trial. Well, in my trial, that lieutenant testifies, I never searched her office. No, I never went in there. I wouldn't go in there even if I was told to go in there. So that was his testimony. It's on a record in transcripts. The DA, the previous DA that the lieutenant was working for, because this DA was running against this DA and the outgoing DA was going out, that DA comes in and we go, did you ever tell this lieutenant to search her office? He says, yeah, I told him to do it. He did it on my instruction. And I'm sitting there, I'm looking at my attorney like, what the? This lieutenant just came in and lied, and now the DA's saying he told him to search it and he knows he searched it. And I was like, let's call the lieutenant back. And they're like, man, nobody cares. He goes, who's going to file the perjury charges? He goes, this DA gets to file. He goes, you think he's going to file the guy that's lying to help him? I go, dude, this is a scam. But, I mean, there was just thousands of things like that that went on through this trial that me and my lieutenant we were just shocked. And we laugh about it now. We're like, dude, we were so naive. We thought doing the right thing and being good and standing up for right, that we would come out okay, and they trashed us. They were releasing information on him, and I mean, they sent out an email to all the cops that he used to teach at, tried to get him fired from his other job, as saying, oh, we can't. I mean, the smear campaign was unbelievable. It was crooked. Again, let me end this sucker, because, I mean, I could tell you stories that you would be like, you couldn't believe. Bottom line, they were wrong. They were hiding evidence. They were refusing to discover. Oh, I forgot to say, the letter was never found. The prosecutor said they turned it over, but it wasn't in court records. There was no documentation. The defense said we can't find it, but we might have got it. Nobody had a copy of the letter until I gave my copy during my defense, saying I got a copy of the letter that nobody can find. All of a sudden, now they have a copy of my same letter saying, oh, we found it. It's not lost. We found it. And I'm like, you are some crooked. Look, man, Yolo DA, I mean, there's some good people there, and unfortunately, you can't go against the DA. When a guy in charge wants to do what he wants to do, he can do what he wants. But I'm telling you, bottom line, me and my lieutenant did the right thing. We stood up for right. I have no problem with what I did. If you read the news reports, you read the releases, you read the letters and all the crap, when you shift through the thing, the bottom line is, I'm the only one, well, my lieutenant did too, but I got up on a stand, raised my hand, and swore to tell the truth, and said my letter is accurate and the truth. And that's it. And the bottom line is, the DA didn't do that, none of the other guys did that, I did that, and I stand by that. And I've always stood by that. But between the mumbo and lumbo, sign this, if you want money, and you know, the lieutenant talked me into signing this damn retraction letter. I didn't want to sign it. I go, I signed that. He goes, dude, you can either sign this letter that doesn't say you lied, I mean, and it gives them a bone to put to the press. You can either sign this letter, walk away with some cash, and say screw them, then you get the right to quit, and you can say, hey, screw you, I'll quit. Or they can say that we fired you and you were fired. So he goes, what do you want? And I was like, shit. So it was a very conflicting thing for me, because I thought the letter kind of said I lied, or it implied that I lied, and I was like, dude, I told the truth, I testified. He goes, it doesn't say you lie, it says you gave false information, or I don't know, I forgot what it says. It says something about false information, couldn't be proved, or false allegations. And the reason why they said that it was false allegations is because I couldn't prove it. Doesn't say it was proven that I lied or that they weren't true. It was just my word against the DA. And the DA would always make sure, when I had a couple meetings with him and I wanted to bring a lieutenant or someone else with me, and he refused. No, I want to see you by yourself. Why would he want to see me by myself? Because he knows in a civil trial, when it comes out, that if it's just my word against yours, neither one of us can be proven right. So I can say anything I want, and it doesn't matter. Because when it comes to trial and you try to say I said this, I'll deny it. I'll say, I don't remember, I have no recollection of that, wiping sweat from his face. Lying piece of shit. And he's sitting there, and he got away with it, and he knew that. So that's why people don't want to see you with groups. That's why there's a thing called isolation, when people talk to you and they want to have other people talk to you. Because there's always later in legal action that it come back, who said what? Well, how do you know? Was there any witnesses? Do you have documentation of this? Well, if you can't prove it, we can't say it's true, so we're going to go ahead and say it's a false allegation. Because if it was a true allegation, we would say it was true. But since you can't prove it's true, we're going to say it's a false allegation. And of course, most people will read that and go, oh, that's a lie. Well, it wasn't a lie. Nothing I said was a lie. I said it then, I said it now. It's on the record. It's on the record in court, and it's on the record on this video. Me and my lieutenant tried to do the right thing, and man, we had the full force of the government, unlimited resource. They hired another attorney to come in and investigate the whole case. And I'm like, oh, well, she's an outside attorney. I can trust her. What a dumbass. When it comes out that I tried to get information that we discovered and that she kind of told me we talked about, she goes, oh, I can't give it to you because I work for the county. They're my client. It's confidential. I was like, are you kidding me? You came from the outside. You're going to tell me you're going to do an independent investigation? And now, after it's said and done, when I'm trying to get information that you know is true, you're saying you can't give it to me? She goes, they're my client. I got to protect my client. So, if you're in a whistleblower thing and some independent attorney comes out that's hired by the person, look, all that information belongs to them. They have her first report that she did. I think I heard she did 3 reports. But when she first did a report, it made the DA's office look bad. They sent it back and said, we don't want this, we don't want that. Well, guess what? She works for them. They're paying for her. So her report was just kind of, was it falsified? She left out things that were pertinent that helped me, but because her client, who hired her, Yolo County, told her to. So, I mean, the whole thing was a scam. It was a nightmare. I would tell people, if you're going to whistleblow, you're going to stand up against the government, or if you're a cop and you're going to do something, man, you better have your ducks in line. If I had to do it over again, I would have said, screw this, just trying to turn it in and let the system fix it. I would have recorded his ass, I would have collected evidence, I would have grabbed transcripts, I would have ran my own case, fired federal charges in the federal magistrate. I'd have went up there and filed my own federal charges and arrested his ass. But I didn't. I was thinking the system surely won't come after me and my lieutenant with no negative documentation. We're the senior guys. We've got all this great backgrounds. They're not going to come after us. They'll believe us. What a dummy I was. Anyway, that's my spiel. If you hear somebody flashing around, oh, Rick lied to this, you know what? Watch the video. Take it for what it's worth. You can believe what you want. If you want to think that me and my lieutenant, who had 15 years or so in Yolo County working, and we're both in the military, we got all these careers being cops, and for some reason, just out of the blue, we wanted to throw away our career and fight the government over something that we just wanted to lie about. We just wanted to make up. If you want to believe that story, then I can't help you. But if you got half a brain, you got to figure out, look, 2 guys in a position like that doing what they've done and trying to do the right thing, and there's no evidence that says that they lied, and there's no prosecution for perjury. They tried to get the DA, they tried to get the AG to arrest my lieutenant for using his car. They gave him permission to use the car, but then when they asked him, they go, well, I don't remember giving him permission. Oh, you know what? That's unlawful use of his car. Because he was teaching at the academy, so he used to drive his car because he was on call for the shooting team, so he had to drive his car. Well, they came after and said, oh, you use your car for personal business, go teach at the academy. That's a violation of this. So they were trying to fire him on that. I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? And of course, the chief who gave him permission came in there and go, I give a lot of people permission, but I don't remember giving him permission to use that car 3 years ago on Tuesday night. I just don't remember that. Oh, no, he didn't have permission. He can't prove he had permission. Oh, what a joke. Anyway, take it for what it's worth, people. That's my side of the story. We'll end that there.